So today's card, we're going to play with the Hearts of Elegance stamp set and the dies that go along with it. So these are fabulous dies. I love nested dies because they're simple usually. They're simple shapes and they all fit inside one another, and that's what we're going to do with them because I want to expand a little bit on the layering that we did in the blog post just last week, and you can get the link to that in the description below. But we're going to stamp and we are going to use some simple die cuts for today's card. So let's get started. Today's card is going to use the gorgeous Marbled Elegance paper. It has a mix of pinks and reds in it and lots of white, and these veins of gold or speckles of gold in all of the pieces are beautiful. So you can mix and match this with lots of different things. We're going to be using just plain white with it today, but we're going to be using some ink color as well for our greeting. And on the other side, you have wonderful patterns and some really bright colors, the flowers. There's so much that you can do with this paper that you're going to be using it all up and needing to get another package. So what I've done is I've pulled out this one here. So this guy has a mix of some Melon Mambo and some real red in there. And we are going to use some of our dies. Now we want a really simple card because this is such a busy kind of piece of paper. We want to go simple, and we want to use our die cuts in a simple way as well. And I want to show you how to layer. We're going to pull on from that blog post just a couple days ago, as well as a video showing you how to layer die cuts. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the second largest heart and we're going to find the best place on our piece of paper where we think that heart is going to fit, and you can twist and turn it all the way around. Now it's pretty cool there, but I'm not getting as much gold. I really like this. So here, maybe if I go that way, I'm going to get white along the bottom. So if you spend a little bit of time, I think that's pretty good actually with that gold. If you spend a little bit of time finding the best place on your paper, you'll be rewarded with a wonderful card. We're going to take this little die, which has, it's going to deboss these little elements right into the paper. And I've taken a piece of gold foil, just a little piece, and I've put some adhesive sheet on the back. And I have a video that you can check out to do this, and you can see it right up top right now. So we're going to run these through our die cutting machine. Ours is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So when you're cutting, you want to have your cutting plate, your big cutting plate on the bottom. So number one on the bottom, you then want to have your thin die adapter, which is number two. You want to have one of your plates down on the bottom, your cutting plates, and then we're going to put our paper in. So our paper, make sure that you have a size that is not too big to run through. And I usually use a little piece of Post-it tape just to hold that in place. And I'm going to run that through, and let me see if I can get my other heart on at the same time. I can. So I'm also going to take my gold. I am going to put a little piece of tape on that as well. Well, it's a big piece, just because I don't want that to move around. So let me get that all the way on there. You need to have it completely on your plate, otherwise it won't cut through. Then take your other plate over top, and you're going to run that through. So this is what you're left with. So we have our heart shape that has that nice gold and that swirl of white on it. And then we also have our little heart. We have to pull off the tape. And it looks like we are going to need to just poke that out with our Take Your Pick tool. And to do that, you take your pick tool on the pointy end and go into one of these circles and just poke it. You don't have to poke too hard, and then that will poke out your heart, and you can see those wonderful little indents on it. Then our next step is to take our ink, and I'm choosing real red to coordinate, and I'm using the Be Mine stamps, and there are lots of great stamps in this Hearts of Elegance that are perfect for Valentine's Day. But what is also great is that it's not just Valentine's. I've used this Sending Lots of Love for all different kinds of occasions. So we're going to ink up our Be Mine, and I just have a piece of basic white here, and you're going to stamp that and try and get a piece that is about the same size as your stamp, but that's going to give you a little bit of an outline all the way around it. And then I'm going to just take my paper snips. I'm just looking on this side to make sure I have about the same amount of white space. I am just cutting that. I'm not using my paper trimmer. And now let's put this all onto our card. So we have just a plain basic white thick card that's folded in half. We're going to use some liquid glue. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one down with my liquid glue. And I'm going to place it so that it's not right in the center. It's going to be, well, actually, I think I'm going to change my orientation. I am going to go this way on this one. So some of the elements we talked about last time was choosing similar shapes, but not all the same kind of shapes. And then I'm going to take off my paper, my backing on my sticky paper, my adhesive sheet, and that will be sticky. Take that off and place that right in the middle. And I'm eyeballing the sort of the V here. Place that down. Then I'm going to use my dimensionals to put on our greeting. And for this one, I'm going to think about where is the best placement. And I think I want my placement to go right down here. So I do want a little bit of my pink to be showing underneath. But I'm going to place that so it's right in the middle, hopefully. And that's pretty close to the middle. And then I'm just going to use one little heart here because we have 3 elements there, and I'm going to add one more heart element. And I think I'm going to go for our medium heart right here, and I'm going to place this straight as well because these ones are all straight. I don't want to have that one going off on an angle. So let me try and get that down straight. There we go. Pretty straight. I'm going to tick that a little bit with my Take Your Pick tool. And there's your card. So a really simple card, and you can dress up that card immediately when you match it with an envelope. So this is the envelope to go along with it, but you have a pretty spectacular card. You've layered some elements, you've popped it up, you've used some similar shapes. So a lot of the things that we had in our beginner tips, and I hope that you picked that up. It was free. And then I also want to show you another alternative. So this one here is done with different papers, and it's the same stamp set. So this is done with the Toadstool Gardens, which is free with a celebration order of $75 if you choose. We have the back of this one, but we did a different orientation, and we also used white glimmer paper here. And we used, other than that, everything else is the same except the layout. So we have 2 cards that look pretty darn exciting, really, if you were giving these for Valentine's. So thanks again for joining me. Hit subscribe so you don't miss another video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.